got released from federal prison in 2016. I got sentenced to 96 months. I've ran into a lot of different cats from all across the globe. Some high power, some big names. One to speak on was my homeboy Harry-O. I got to know him through my celly, Trouble Man from 20 Outlaws. Rest in peace, Trouble Man. Yeah, I started off in Victorville. I mean, it was an active situation, you know what I'm saying? You had Bloods, Crips, Sopranos, GDs, BDs, Vice Lords, you know, dudes from all across the map. We just conversed. But what amazed me was to see the dudes that was coming from different units to come to my unit to rap for this man. And maybe it was maybe like a month or two past where me and him finally got into a conversation about the clowns that was coming over there trying to perform for him when, you know, dude just did a life sentence in the state prison and now doing 20 years in the federal penitentiary. And all he want to do is go home one time so he could pursue his business aspects. And a lot of dudes was like uncompassionate to that. And they was more about themselves. How can you help me? How can you help me? So I ran the music department as far as the hip hop circle on the yard. And we had a show one day. Me and my boy Voos, Spike, a couple other cats, you know what I'm saying, I was rocking with. And they came out and they seen us perform. So that kind of opened the door for me and Harry-O to talk about different things. Because he came back to my cell and he was like, homie, you kind of real comfortable with that mic. You know, why you ain't tell me you rap? I said, man, you know, my thing was what I did then and what I'm doing now was two different things. Now I'm establishing myself as a business. Now I'm studying, I'm going to class, and I'm doing a lot of different things of that nature. And from there, we just conversed about a lot of things.
Did he tell you anything that hasn't been out in the public sphere that's interesting?
A few things, but we're gonna leave that for the movie. One day, me and him, we stayed in the visiting room, which we call that the dance floor, every weekend. We ain't missing the visit. And before we went to visit, I went up there and I said, let me rap with you for a minute. And I was just telling him about my visions and what I seen from being a part of the role, not actively, but just running with them. When I heard the history of Death Row and the few things I knew just because I'm a Snoop Dogg fan, a Dr. Dre fan, I'm a fan of Dash, Corrupt, the whole crew. You know, so I knew a little bit of what I know and I'm in that industry. So I basically wrote up a three-part, basically like a four-part of Death Row movie. I kicked it with him, we sat and talked about it. And he looked me in my eyes and said, nigga, you trying to get a big ticket. Nigga, with this story, you trying to get $1 billion. And from there, we had a solid, I would say a real solid relationship. And I remember that it was an individual who came to me and said something that I particularly didn't think was true. About Harry-O? About Harry-O. You know, in the feds, a snitch is considered a nigga that's hot. This certain individual came to me and said, man, you know that nigga is hot. So I told him that, you know, I never heard that, you know, and I'm a real believer of paperwork. You know, show me in black and white, you know, that this man is telling. Don't put a jacket on a nigga and it don't stick. Victorville is a yard that if your car's solid, you gonna know that every nigga in this car's solid. If not, they going up top, period. Whether they thieves, they going up top. If fuck with punks, they going up top. What's up top? Up top is the hole. You can't walk this yard no more. You gotta go. Leave the man line. You can't walk man line ever again. So the individuals that was under our car, everybody checked paperwork. If not, it was a certain individual that will get your paperwork. Nigga really will charge you to get your paperwork too. He gonna make a fee off of getting you your paperwork, but you gonna have your paperwork. Some issues came up. But you know, when you do 2-3 years in the cell with an individual and you get a bond with a motherfucker, Trouble Man, that was my dude. You know what I'm saying? We conversed about a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? I told him, you know what I'm saying? It's him being a G homie on the yard and him being my nigga. You know, I'm like, man, you know, dude be kind of like spitting venom on a lot of the shit. Not just this in particular. You know what I'm saying? And Trouble Man took it and put it in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? He processed it, but he didn't say nothing about it as well. So it was an incident one morning with Trouble Man. You know, if you know him, you know it's boxing all day with him. You know, he's quick with the hands, old nigga though, with the shit. And shit, he caught everybody out for phase that day. You know what I'm saying? I had on my shoes ready to go with him. That's my nigga. You know what I'm saying? And in particular, you know, this day he kind of got on dude. You know what I'm saying? And he got on his bumper and he brought it up like, nigga, why you out here telling motherfuckers my homeboy hot? He got on dude like, nigga, why you telling niggas my homeboy hot? Nigga, you ain't got no paperwork. You on some bullshit. Woo, woo, woo. You know what I mean? Which obviously brought me into it because my celly brought my name into it. You know, which I'm gonna stand on what I say, period. If I can say it once, I can say it again. I'm solid, you know what I'm saying? So, in particular, now Harry is confronting this individual about his name, his reputation, and what he stand on. So I let it be known, yeah, the homie said this about you. And I said, I never heard that. That's why you never heard it from me, because I'm not gonna do no messy shit. I just took it and kept it in my pocket. But I did tell my celly that, because me and my celly, that's my nigga. And when he displayed it to his nigga, then that's when it made it an issue. So I said what I said, and it went from there. Nothing ever really transpired about the situation, but
it could have.
Oh, it definitely could have, because both individuals is with the shit. You know, I gotta say, the nigga is with the shit. Harry O came to me and was like, nigga, you trying to give me life. Telling me some shit like that, nigga, and I'm trying to go home. I say, my bad, homie, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't my place to bring it up. It wasn't my place to say nothing. There wasn't no documentation to support it, the allegation, so I left it alone. You know what I'm saying? I said, shit, your dude brought it up, and since your dude brought it up, that's why we addressing this right now. But make a long story short, dude always been a solid individual from the day I met him to the day I left that yard. And it just is what it is, man. You know, free the boy Harry O, man.